Okay, we're now live, Chair.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to those watching us live on the YouTube Newham channel. This is a meeting of the Licensing 2003 Act Subcommittee, London Borough of Newham, and I'm chairing it throughout. I'm Councillor Neil Wilson, and I'm the Chair of Licensing. Due to issues around the coronavirus COVID-19, in order to meet with social distancing guidance issued by the Government of Public Health England, this meeting will be conducted throughout by these teleconferencing arrangements. Normally we'd meet in the town hall. We're trying to keep to as much as possible normal in terms of procedures. And so we start off by the three members. Any reference to members is a reference to elected councillors, and we have three on this committee, and the three will be introducing themselves, but also agenda item 1, declaring any matters of interest. In accordance with the Members' Code of Conduct, this is the time for members, that's the elected councillors, to disclose any disclosable pecuniary interests or non-pecuniary interests they may have in any matter being considered at this meeting, having regard to the guidance attached to the agenda. I have no interest to declare. Councillor Murphy?
I have no interest, Chair.
And Councillor Vaughan?
No interest to declare, Chair.
Thank you very much. We now move to agenda item 2, and throughout the page numbers will refer to those in the bundle that is also attached to the agenda item on the Newham Council website. So the confirmation of procedure is found on page 5. We'll do introductions around everybody you can see on the screen. So I'm Councillor Neil Wilson, Chair of Licensing, and I represent Plaistow South Ward. Patrick Murphy, please.
Councillor Pat Murphy, Royal Docks Ward.
Thank you. And Councillor Vaughan, please.
Councillor Winston Vaughan, representing Forest Gate South Ward.
And so we're the three elected councillors, none of whom reside in the area where this is the premises is located, which is in Boleyn Ward. We are assisted in our process and deliberations by two people from Legal and Governance. Mandeep, please, first. Mandeep?
Hi, sorry, Chair. Legal Advisors Committee, Mandeep Mihat, and observing today is Umar Malik, and also have an additional observer, Asif Abad.
Thank you very much. So we've got quite a few people observing us, but they're doing this because of part of the training mechanism that we have to employ, obviously, for obvious reasons. I'll go just on looking across the screen in no particular order. Colin, are you the case officer? So we'll introduce, you're presenting this afternoon. So Colin Hunt, please.
Yeah, that's correct. Colin Hunt, London Borough of Newham. I'm the case officer for today.
And environmental health, please.
Chair, Ian McConnell, Commercial Environmental Health.
And from the Metropolitan Police. I can't hear anything. Hello? Can people hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Chair.
I couldn't hear Connell. I think we had a freeze briefly there. I think we've got some technology problems. The screen seems to be frozen.
So sorry, Chair, just to say, if people just want to unmute themselves, or an alternative is just to hold down and press spacebar.
Connell, can you hear me?
Metropolitan Police Licensing. Can you hear?
I think there's internet problems because people keep freezing. Can everybody still hear me? Sorry, can you wave your hands? Colin, can you hear me? Colin seems to have been frozen, so is Ian. And so is Mandeep. Winston, can you hear me?
Yes, Chair, I can hear you.
Your screen is not moving. There's a problem, I think, Adrian.
Oh, it's my screen.
Nobody's moving on my screen.
So
I've
we
lost
have,
Colin Hunt. I've lost Colin Hunt, Ian, and Mandeep.
I'm here.
it might be a localized problem. So on mine, everyone's working and everyone's moving around.
All right. So shall we carry on with the introductions?
Yes. I think so.
Graham, can you hear me?
I
Graham
can, Chair,
Hopkins?
yes.
Could you introduce yourself, please? Sorry, we're
course,
having problems with.
No worries, Chair. It's Graham Hopkins, GT Licensing Consultants, representing Mr. Ali.
And Mr. Ali, please, as the applicant.
Yeah, hi, sir. I'm main applicant for the Hot Tea Grill and Express Pizza, 472 Green Street.
Thank you very much. And throughout, we will be assisted by our clerk, who's not on the screen. Nisha, can you still hear us?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Nisha Lathigra, Democratic Services.
Okay, so we've done the introductions. What happens is the presenting officer, that's this afternoon from the licensing department, Colin Hunt, will present the officer's report. Members may seek clarification of matters in that report from the presiding officer, presenting officer, and the applicant responsible authorities may seek clarification of matters within that report from the presenting officer. We then move to the relevant representations, and I'll take them in the order of the bundle, and that will be environmental health followed by the police. Members can ask questions of each presentation by the responsible authorities, and so can the applicant or their agent. We then move to the applicant, who'll present his case or with the help of his agent, and we then have brief closing remarks. And I'll stop at that point because then things change into about decision making. Is everybody still hearing me okay? As I say, I'm having screen problems, but as long as we can all hear each other, I think we can proceed. So, Colin, would you like to introduce a report from page 7? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The members of the licensing subcommittee are asked to hear and determine an application for the grant of a variation to an existing premises license for Hot Tea Express, 472 Green Street, E13 9DB, and the applicant is Mr. Wajid Ali, and any valid representations that have been made. An application to vary an existing premises license was received by the licensing authority on the 25th of August 2020. This was advertised at the premises and in the local paper, and a copy of the application is attached to Appendix A, pages 11 to 24. The application is for the following changes: to submit a revised plan of the premises to reflect the new layout, to extend the premises hours for the provision of late night refreshments from 2300 hours to 0200 hours the following day on a Sunday to Thursday, and from 2300 to 0300 for the following day on a Friday and Saturday, and to change the name of the premises. The Council Commercial Environmental Team has made representation against the application on the licence and objectives of the prevention of public nuisance. A copy of their letter is attached to Appendix B, page 25 to 26. The police licensing team have made representation against the application on the licence and objectives of crime, disorder and public nuisance. A copy of their letter is attached to Appendix C, page 27 to 28. Where the premises lie within a community impact zone, there is a rebuttable presumption that applications for a new premises licence, club certificate or variation in respect of such premises would normally be refused unless the applicant can demonstrate in their operating schedule that there will be no negative impact on one or the more licensing objectives. At the hearing, members of the licensing subcommittee would need to be satisfied that the applicant has demonstrated this. The community impact of the premises can only be considered where relevant representations are made. This means that if there are no relevant representations, the application must be granted even if it falls within the CIZ. Members of the subcommittee should note that each application within the CIZ needs to be considered on its own merit, and a blanket refusal cannot be made. Where the licensing authority decides to impose conditions on the licence, whether in the CIZ or not, such conditions must be appropriate and proportionate for the promotion of the licence objective. Conditions should be clear and unequivocal. The Secretary of State has issued guidance in carrying out to the licensing authority to which they must have regards in carrying out their licensing functions. Members of the subcommittee should note that copies of the guidance are available at the meeting of the subcommittee. Alternatively, copies can be obtained directly from the committee clerk. Licensing authorities may only depart from the guidance if they have a good reason to do so. This premises does fall within the CIZ, and the Newham CIZ map is attached to Appendix D, page 29. These premises license was this premises license was grandfathered from the old Justice license in 2005 into the name of Mr. Kashru. The license has been transferred twice since then, and the last one being on the 3rd of August 2020 into the current license. And the current license is attached to Appendix E, page 31 to 36. A map is attached to Appendix F, page 37, and a plan of the premises is attached to as Appendix G, page 38. The members of the licensing subcommittee are asked to hear the application, the representation of the license holder, and any valid representation received from responsible authorities, and to determine the application. That concludes the report. However, there have been 2 supplementaries submitted. I just want to check that everybody has received them. The extra conditions, there's 3 extra conditions and a dispersal policy. I have them on the screen if you need to look at them, or if everybody's happy that they've received them, that's fine. Has
Can I
everybody
just check?
received?
Thank you, Colin, for that. Is everybody, can they just indicate in the traditional way by hands up, as it were, if they've received them? Yeah. So, Mandeep, we're okay to proceed on that basis? Thank you, Colin. Yeah.
Also,
Yes, Chair.
Good.
Also, Chair, obviously, as normal, the plans haven't come out too good on the report. I have them ready if you wish to see them.
Thank you. Now, when you were reading out the report, it may be that it was an error on the typing. Sorry, the printed copy. Page 7.
Yeah.
It's the paragraph has gone slightly odd, but can we look at the application for variation? It's to extend the permitted hours for the provision of late night refreshment only to be from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock the following day in the period Sunday to Thursday, and from 11 o'clock to 3 p.m. the following day on Fridays and Saturdays. But you didn't read out bank holidays, Sundays, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Is that still applicable?
Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, bank holidays, Sundays, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve is 3 o'clock as well.
Right. So that's the proposal. That's what.
That's what they proposed. Yeah, sorry, my apologies.
Okay, and to change the name, which is fair enough. So the current licensee, Mr. Ali, the holder of the license, has only been on this license as the license holder since the 3rd of August. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Chair. This year.
3rd of August of this current year. Yeah. So shall we have the plan? Is that? I think we could have the plan up. Sorry, the plan is very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ali Graham. The plan of the premises is very good, but sometimes the duplication doesn't come out very well. Shall we start with the map of Green Street? Google Maps or whatever, Colin.
Have you got that?
That's page 37 in our bundle. Okay, are you able to display it or not? Don't worry if you can't.
I'm trying to display it now. Hang on a sec. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's it there. So you've got the Barking Road down here, Green Street. So it's that's where the old West Ham ground used to be. So it's just along the old West Ham ground.
So it's equidistant from the junction of where the statue is at the Green Street Barking Road junction to the Upton Park Tube, correct? And there's a little map. There's the side view. Yes. Yeah. So it was there then named.
Can you see the side view? That's there.
Charcoal. It was called Charcoal Grill and Chill or something, and it's now wanted to be renamed. Okay.
If I spin it round, you'd be able to see where. Yeah. The old ground used to be.
Yeah, which is now residential
flats. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just have the CIZ if you can manage that one as well? I know it's come out quite well on them.
No, that's fine.
That's on page 29 of our bundle.
Is that okay? Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's it there. So it's,
Yeah, because it was cut off a bit in the bundle because of pages, but you know, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
it's there.
darker, I don't know what color to describe that as, purpley to me, but that's it. The purple bits is the CIZ. Yep.
Yep, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for that, Colin. Thank you. So should we just go back to normal screen? Is that okay? Any questions from members? Councillor Murphy or Councillor Vaughan at this point?
I'd like
Page-
to ask.
page-
Sorry,
Oh.
you go first, Winston.
Okay,
Right.
page 7, where it says an application to vary an existing premises license, and I have the date, which is just the 25th on my document. So that's the 25th of which month?
It's August.
August.
My
okay.
apologies. Yeah.
Right.
This is
Fair
just
point.
a little thing, but I just wanted to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I knew there was something connected with, because this is a relatively new occupier of this premises. So 25th of August, and
Yeah.
that was the same month as the transfer, presumably, Colin, because it went on the 3rd
Correct,
of
yes.
August. Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
the transfer of the license on the 3rd, this application made on the 25th of August. Thank you for that, Councillor Vaughan.
Yeah, the actual license was issued on this license. The transfer of the license was actually issued on the 18th of August 2020.
Okay, is that fine? Councillor Vaughan, anything further?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Murphy, please.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's closed right now because of the lockdown.
Well, I don't know if it's closed, but they can open because they can do takeaway.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. They're not
no.
allowed to sit in there, but they are allowed to do takeaway up.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not. Has it got an alcohol license? I might have missed
No.
this.
No.
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 Right.
No, no.
Lastly, in the dispersal, bearing in mind we're still in a very difficult situation with the pandemic, it says that no more than 20 people. I'm just wondering whether that is a sensible amount of people to be in the restaurant, either queuing up or eating or taking away. I don't know how big the restaurant is or the premises is, but it doesn't look very big from the outside. I just wondered, is this something we should discuss later on, Chair?
I think so. I think we should. Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah,
be
I probably
more,
jumped the gun there.
Yeah, don't worry. No, that's fine. We tried to do catch up, Graham, you see, so that we're clear on what's been sent out and everything. But
Yeah, sure.
let's park that one, as they say. Yeah,
Yeah,
Is that all right?
certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Anything at this point, Graham, or Mr. Allen?
No, Chair. I mean, I'm happy to answer Councillor Murphy's point if it gets it out the way. I can tell you they're closed at the moment. It's being refurbed.
Oh, it's being refurbished. Yeah.
Yes.
But you addressed the point about dispersal and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been refurbished. Yeah.
Okay.
So page 25 at Sequendum is the first representation, and that is from Ian, I think. But it's in the name of Kerry Wood. But Ian, you're going to back that one off from environmental. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, on behalf of Kerry Wood, Commercial Environmental Health teams making representation in respect to this application in relation to the licensing objectives of prevention of public nuisance. Premises lies in one of the council's designated cumulative impact zones as detailed in the licensing policy of March of this year. As such, there is a requirement to comprehensively demonstrate there will be no additional impact on the local area in terms of the 4 licensing objectives. Preparing this representation, Kerry visited the area on the 14th of September this year. 472 is in a small parade of shops at the Barking Road end of Green Street, close to the junction with Walton Road. The applicant is seeking to vary the existing license to provide late night refreshment Sunday to Thursday until 2 a.m, an extra 2.5 hours on Sunday, 2 hours extra on Monday to Thursday, and Friday and Saturday until 3 a.m, which is an extra 3 hours. We don't have any recent complaints about public nuisance emanating concerning this premises, but we do have some concern about potential public nuisance. We're concerned about possible disturbance from patrons using the shop so late. There are residential premises directly above 472 and the adjoining premises. There are 3 other premises open for late night hot food in the area, including 762 Barking Road as the Best Turkish Kebab Shop, 12 Barking Road and 15 Barking Road. The times are listed there. Whilst we do not have any recent complaints about public nuisance emanating from the premises, we do have some concern about the potential public nuisance. We're concerned about the late times applied for and possible disturbance from patrons and delivery drivers, etc. If granted as applied for, this will be the latest premises open in the area. There are residential premises above 472 and the adjoining premises. The applicant has detailed some conditions in the application which will promote the licensing objectives. We're seeking clarity on the times which will be advertised, that food will be available for delivery by way of food delivery apps. There is no mention in the application whether the applicant, if granted, will permit deliveries up until the terminal hour. We're concerned about noise from customers both inside the premises and causing a nuisance to residents above, and noise from customers collecting takeaways, loud voices, car doors slamming and littering in the area. The area of Green Street and Barking Road has established issues with street drinking and other antisocial behaviour that a premises opening as late as this may well attract. And that's our representation.
Thank you very much. So the latest visit was in the last period when there wasn't a lockdown, if I'm keeping up to date with these lockdown 1s, lockdown 2s. So Kerry was there in September, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And that she visited the premises then. That's at the on page 25, Ian, the 14th of September. Yep.
Yes.
The other premises, they just sell food or food and alcohol. They're all food premises, are they? These 7, 2, 12 and 15.
Yes, I'm not sure whether any of them have alcohol licenses. Probably not the Best Turkish Kebab Shop, but I'm not sure about the other 2.
Right. Okay, I think it's enough for me. Anything from Councillor Vaughan?
I think my questions would probably come from the police,
right?
Regarding this, but just one thing I want to clarify, where it states that if the license is granted to this application, it will be the latest as food establishment open in that area. I wonder if you would know what presently is the latest hour that any of these shops are open to. Does he know?
Yeah, but it's on that sheet, I think, isn't it, Ian? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think the closest ones, it's 2 a.m. So
2 a.m. Yeah.
Yes, if this was granted, this will be till 3 a.m. on a Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that, Ian.
Okay. Anything, Councillor Murphy?
No, Chair.
Sorry?
No.
Okay, thank you. So shall we move? Sorry, Graham. I was going to call you Ian for some reason. Graham, do you have any questions at this point on behalf of your client?
No, Chair. I'll be answering Kerry's points that Ian's raised in my presentation anyway, but thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anything at this point, Mandeep? Shall we move on? Mandeep, can you hear me?
Yes, Chair, I have no questions, so you can move on to the next representation.
Okay, next representation then is the one from the Metropolitan Police, and that's Connell, please, on page 27 and 28. Thank you. Connell, we need to hear you. You're on mute, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
That's fine. Yeah, can everybody hear Connell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Conor. Proceed.
Right. On behalf of the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, I wish to object to an application to vary a premises licence for Hot Sea Express 472 Green Street, E13 9DB, on the grounds of the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. You've heard the proposed hours and the opening proposed hours for the late night refreshment and the opening hours, and you've heard the current hours. The premises are situated within the cumulative impact zone as designated in Newham Council Licensing Policy 2020 that states that there is a requirement for the applicant to comprehensively demonstrate there will be no additional negative impact on the vicinity in terms of the 4 licensing objectives. In section 16 of the operating schedule, the applicant is invited to describe the steps you intend to take to promote the 4 licensing objectives, and the applicant's agent has proposed a comprehensive and robust set of conditions on his client's behalf. The crime statistics that are specific to the area within a quarter of a mile radius of the postcode, I apologise, Chair, is due to an oversight. The crime maps haven't been submitted. But if I may, I'll just read out the figures for the months.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Antisocial behaviour, 61 incidents in May, which is the last month of lockdown, 24 in June, 47 in July, and subsequently 47 in August, and a reduction of 30 to 38 in September. I would tend to ignore the figure for May because it would be disproportionately high because it was the last month of lockdown, full lockdown. The figures for violent incidents are also relatively high, being 21 in May, 20 in June, 20 in July, and the figures for August and September are also in the low 20s. Therefore, please consider the likely effect of granting this variation may be to exacerbate the existing problems. Police would like to give the applicant the opportunity to attend the licensing subcommittee hearing in order to demonstrate that he is aware of the existing problems in the area, that he understands why the conditions proposed on his behalf are necessary, and how he will promote the 4 licensing objectives, especially the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance, before determining the outcome of the application. If I may just add, I did visit the area on Monday morning at around 8:30 in the morning. There was not much sign of any street drinker detritus in Green Street, but a little way down Walton Road, which is, as you come south towards Barking Road, around 25-30 yards down from the shop, there were cans of Polish strong beer with a ABV of 7% in the just along the streets, and a can of Jack Daniel's whiskey mixed with Coke, also discarded. And a bit further along at the junction of Walton Road and Selsdon Road, immediately in front of an off licence at 14 Walton Road, there was a litter bin with the top 3 or 4 inches looked as if they were filled up with cans of Perla Polish beer, which has a ABV of 7.6, and discarded fast food cartons. There was also a can of K cider that had been placed on top of the bin. Again, just up the road on the other side of Green Street and Tudor Road, there was a single can of Black Storm strong cider, 7.5% ABV, and a Caribbean style metal barbecue grill just near to the junction. These are just mentioned. Obviously, the premises hasn't been open, so it's not directly connected to this, but it gives an indication that there is a problem with street drinking in the area.
Thank you. There were no actual street drinkers, but quite a lot of detritus and the evidence based on your experience within the Green Street area. Yes?
Yes, no sign of any street drinkers.
Yeah. And from my local knowledge, because Walton Road is partly in Plaistow North, partly in Plaistow South, which is my ward, and also Boleyn, which is a ward where the licensed premises is quite full of detritus right along the whole length of it, but still.
Yeah. That particular
whether-
off-license is
Sorry, can I just finish that point, Conor?
Sorry.
Sorry, to
Apologies,
explain where I'm coming from. The map may show that there is a cumulative impact zone, which is about premises location, but it doesn't necessarily indicate where the street drinkers or people who are using premises congregate.
Yes.
That's the point I was making. Yeah. Okay, can I bring in my colleagues? Councillor Vaughan, you indicated that you had something specific on the Met Police one.
Yeah, it referred actually to the numbers of antisocial behaviour.
Right.
That's what it referred to. But I think, Conal, you've actually spelled out the number of recorded incidences, but I did miss the time span that you mentioned. I mean, what you have here is up to July, but do you have figures beyond July?
Yes, the figure for August is 47, and then there's a reduction in September to 38 incidents.
Okay.
October not yet available.
No,
Yes,
they
okay.
work a month behind.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
they won't be
Winston.
available until the beginning of
Well,
December.
Right.
Yeah,
That was ASB, yeah.
Yeah, working from an abstract point of view, not being able to see a graph, how is that graph shaping at the moment, based on the figures that you've given? Is it rising or is it leveling off? Or
No,
is it
based on the last figures that we've got, it is falling. There was a fall of 9 incidents between August and September. So 47 for August, 38 for September. So, but prior to that, it was 47, 47, and then 24 in May. So it was steady during the midsummer, July and August, but it's fallen in the early autumn, September.
okay? At the top of page 28, second paragraph, then, which I think is probably relevant to what you just spelled out to us, where it says, therefore, police consider that the likely effect of granting this variation may be to exacerbate the existing problems, which, from my understanding, would add to the problems that exist at the moment. Would I be right in thinking that?
Yes, another, as I've said, in the White Lissa bin in Walton Road, the alcohol, the bottles, beg your pardon, the cans of the Perla Polish beer were mixed in with discarded fast food cartons. So it seems there is a connection. People are buying the beer and buying fast food, and it may well have an effect, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Now, Councillor Murphy, please.
No questions, Chair.
In your professional judgment, Connell, in terms of this, because there is sometimes a lethal cocktail between these high-strength beers, lagers, cans, and fast food outlets. Do the police get called out after 11 o'clock when licensable activity has to come before in terms of licenses?
Yeah, I mean, until obviously the 10 p.m. curfew at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to, because I don't want to keep hearing things again. So I think I'll be guided by our legal advisor, but we're talking as if things are back to normal because we don't want to keep making people come back and forth. So we're taking this as read that there's been an exceptional circumstance. But in your experience, when there's not a lockdown, what is the main sort of problem time?
Yes, it would be
before
after
11, or is it after 11? That's what I'm getting at. Really.
No, it would be after the pubs close. People on their way home want to buy some fast food, and the potential for problems is increased then.
Yeah. And this extension, you've said in your concluding paragraph that, sorry, following on from what Councillor Vaughan was saying about exacerbating the existing problems, you want that in order to, you know, if they want to come before us to justify this, to look at the problems in the area, understand why conditions are necessary and the licensing objectives anyway. But you stand by your submission.
Yes, I do, Chair.
That you're opposing the extension of the hours.
For these hours, yes, not any extension at all, but certainly for these hours. It is quite a considerable extension.
Well, it's in the hands of us, obviously, what if we were to extend or to grant any extension, but you're saying these are, in your opinion, would exacerbate the problems.
I think so, Chair, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any further questions, Graham, before we move into your presentation?
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of quick points. Could I just ask Connell to confirm that he realises the premises will not be selling alcohol? We've not applied for an alcohol licence.
Oh yes, I appreciate it's only late night refreshment. Yes.
Thank you. And just a second point.
I think the point being made, Graham, is that people who have absorbed alcohol erroneously feel that they might soak up some of that alcohol by buying fast food.
Oh no,
so
I understand
they
that.
then go from alcohol-related issues to going into fast food outlets. I think
yes, no, I understand that, Chair.
Being established. Yes.
Yes, I understand that. We will argue the other way, obviously. But can I just
you have your time in court, as they say?
Yes. Can I just take up on Connell's point, if I may, very quickly? The Connell went yesterday morning. We actually went at lunchtime yesterday to Mr. Alley's premises, and I can confirm what Connell said. There was no rubbish outside the shop whatsoever, or either side. I wasn't looking in the bins, I must admit.
Well, the police and environmental health and our licensing team are often, in the bins more than the foxes because they're looking for various things. Yeah. Okay. Anything further?
No, thank you.
No. Shall we then move? Elected members, are we okay to make progress? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mandy.
Yes, Chair, you can move on. There's just one point I want to make. Obviously, you've had the additional conditions from Graham Hopkins, which includes the dispersal policy. You may want to just ask the responsible authorities if they have any further concerns given what conditions have been offered.
That's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe the responsible authorities can address that after Graham has given his sort of overall submissions. About that.
Okay, so we're not ignoring the additional conditions and do come back. Otherwise, it's very easy when there's been some late things. Graham, why were these so late?
Because we're hectic, Chair, at the moment. If I say it's not a word of a lie, we've got so much going on with it, and unfortunately, we had a.
Well, this is a very busy committee, as you know.
I know.
I don't know where you're going to. Don't name the authority, but I bet.
No, I'm not. No, my son-in-law was taken ill last week.
Sorry, I thought you said you had to go to another hearing.
No, it was a shock. He's only a young man, but he got a chronic heart condition, rushed into hospital. So we were.
Pass on the best wishes for both.
That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Shall I carry on now?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, very much. Basically, Chair, 472 Green Street, we're asking to change the name to Hotsy Express. That's what it will trade under. No other changes. Before it opens, it's going to be a shop selling chicken dishes and pizza, but it is being currently refurbished, and I understand from Mr. Alley it will open in a few weeks' time. As at yesterday, it's still a building site, so he's not actually traded this premises since he took it over. There'll be a dining. I'm talking post-COVID, obviously, and to answer Councillor Murphy's point on the number of guests, yes, of course, he won't have 20 people in at the moment because COVID assessment wouldn't allow him to. I would think half of that if nothing else. But certainly post-COVID, if we ever get back to that sort of normality, we'd be looking for 20 covers and a few people standing if takeaway. That's what we're looking for, and as per the plan. Service will be by dine-in, Chair. customer collection or home delivery services, excuse me, I'm sorry, using either Mr. Ali's own drivers or courier services like Deliveroo and Uber Eats. Mr. Ali is aware that he's located in the CIZ, the problems arising and of the steps he needs to take. We hope that is reflected in the conditions we've offered and the additional measures. He's aware of the need to fully promote the objectives and, of course, prevent any negative cumulative impact increase. Mr. Ali, Chair, I can tell you, has some 11 years of prior experience of working in fast food late night refreshment outlets. 6 years he was the manager of a shop, which I believe was in Newham. And for the last 5 years, he's owned and operated Grill and Express at 136 Green Street, which is the same sort of distance, equidistant, the other side of Upton Park Station, which is a pizza outlet. I understand from Mr. Ali, he's got a licence there, Chair, until 1 o'clock Sunday to Thursday and 3 o'clock Friday and Saturday. He's traded over the past 11 years, as I say, as a manager, now the operator, and for the past 5 years has traded without any incidents. He has a clear record with the police and licensing authority and other authorities. No history whatsoever of breaches or wrongdoing. And I would ask the members to bear that in mind, that he has that experience of trading in, albeit not the Barking Road end, but within Green Street and within Upton Park. His shop is about the same distance as, I say, the other side of the station. I've been talking to Mr.
interrupt, Graham.
Yeah.
I didn't make I didn't get the note of the number on Green Street.
Yes, I think, sorry, Chair, it's 136 and it's known as Grilling Express.
The 136 Green Street.
Yes.
That's over the railway bridge.
Yes, equidistant, about the same distance the other side as this one is from the station.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to Mr. Ali for the last 2.5, 3 months, as you see, because we put the application into transfer. He is a man of good character. I've found him to be a hard-working man and just trying to survive in these difficult times and provide for his family. That's the motivation behind what he's doing, is to succeed and to provide for his family. No ulterior motives there. I would point out that, as I say, the late licence, especially on Friday, Saturday to 3 o'clock, he brings that experience, the last 11 years of late night refreshment houses, to this application. So clearly, his other shop is in the CIZ. He is aware of the issues arising, the street drinking, the problem drinkers, the people drinking strong alcohol, that the rest of us are aware of. He's offered the full range of robust conditions on that the police and Ian have mentioned on the application. Having looked again at Kerry's representation, I felt we should address those specific points about the last times for takeouts, collections and eating service, to make sure that everybody, whatever hour you grant, if you grant an extension, that the people will be gone by the due time. So regardless of what time you give them, if you do extend it, it'll be 30 minutes before the terminal hour for dine in and 15 minutes before for collections or deliveries. So they'll be out of the premises by the due time. It's the conditions we've offered are those you would expect to see, the CCTV. Mr. Ali has put 2 cameras outside to aid in deterring customers loitering. Full staff training. There is no alcohol sold or permitted on this premises. And we would suggest that Hotz Express will not lead to an increase in alcohol consumption, rather the opposite. I will argue against the point that was made about 5 minutes ago, Chair, that the consumption of food will actually reduce the impact of alcohol because it will soak it up to a degree. We're going to offer signage, monitoring the outside on an ongoing basis. They've got a member of staff designated for that. And you've heard about the dispersal policy. From 11, that provides for, until the terminal hour, if it's extended beyond what we've got now, member staff being tasked specifically to monitor the outside, ensure people don't loiter outside, and if they do, politely ask them to leave the area and vicinity. I've covered the point that the timings have been covered that Kerry raised. Don't propose to go through that. Unless you want me to, I won't go through the dispersal policy. But I would just say, hopefully the panel will recognise that Mr. Ali has further demonstrated his responsible approach to operating businesses by responding to issues raised. A question was made about, or the flat above the restaurant was raised. That is actually leased to Mr. Ali, and he intends to use it longer term when the shop is open for his staff. So we are looking at the need for what I think is an excellent idea on the part of Newham Council, a private rental licence for that flat. And I wish that applied in other boroughs as well, but there we are. There is no housing over the road, Chair. It's the phone exchange and the school next door, as you rightly pointed out, leading down to the old Upton Park ground. There are the flats either side, but I gather Mr. Ali has been in contact with them. But certainly the people above, the directors' neighbours, will be his own staff. I would just point out Green Street is a transitory route from the station. People returning in normal times, not these times, obviously, but from a night out, Stratford or London, heading back will be able to buy food there, as they can the other side from Mr. Ali's other shop or the other premises down there, reducing the risk of problems at home by having consumed some food to soak up if they've been silly and had too much alcohol. We believe strongly that with the measures Mr. Ali's offered on the application and the additional conditions in the dispersal policy, that the shop will not add to negative cumulative impact. Also, draw your attention, if I may, to the advice from the Minister of State at the Home Office about LA's being pragmatic and sympathetic to people applying for a licence in the current time, bearing in mind, I know you've got to promote the objectives, fully respect that, but just to bear it in mind that all the hospitality trade has and is going to take another clobbering from the after the lockdown. That does affect this restaurant, Chair, because if it had been open, he would have been locked down. His other premises would have been closed till 10, and it's delivery sales in essence only, as Colin has pointed out, or maybe click and collect. I don't think it's practical at a takeaway. No reps from any local residents or businesses, the people who be most affected. Suggest it hasn't caused the local residents to worry about an increase in public nuisance or crime and disorder. They would find Mr. Ali a very receptive man, a very polite man to talk to, as I have myself, and I can't commend him enough for how he's acted during this difficult time with us and cooperated with us. He has, one of the conditions, we are publishing a telephone number, so any residents who've got any concerns, if they don't want to go into the shop and see him, they can certainly phone in and speak to Mr. Ali or his supervisor. Kerry has mentioned other premises, which Ian's mentioned to you. The 15 Barking Road has got 2 o'clock the following day or week. That's Lahora Kebabish, 15 Barking Road. And the other one I was interested in was Top Favourite at 12 Barking Road, Chair, licensed until 1 Sunday to Thursday and 2 Friday and Saturday. So there is a precedent for later premises in the immediate vicinity, a matter of 100 yards or so, 200 yards down the road, in regard to this outlet. But I would ask you to bear in mind that Mr. Ali is an experienced operator in trade until 3, because his shop, which is also within the Upton Park CIZ, which is grilling, has 3 o'clock until on a Friday and Saturday now, and has had for some time. Mr. Kerry asked about delivery orders. I think I've covered those. They will be until the terminal hour, which would be whatever members may be minded to grant, except for the fact we would take the orders 15 minutes beforehand. So it will be gone. If you say 2 o'clock, they'll be gone by 2 o'clock. We've submit the measures proposed in the dispersal policy will address her concerns. She mentioned the customers upstairs. They're Mr. Ali's staff. Of course, they're entitled to their sleep as well, but it's not a noisy premises. He's got new ducting. The ducting goes over his shop, nowhere near I had a look yesterday, nowhere near the neighbour's premises. So he's taken that into account. We're going to put up signs to encourage people not to make a nuisance themselves outside. The staff are monitoring it, as you've seen. Ditto with Uber, we'll be speaking, and then we'll be speaking to them, no motorbikes after 11, to instruct drivers not to bang their doors or run engines. And again, they will be covered when they go in the shop and told not to do that and reminded of it. So within the first visit, the drivers are going to get used to them. I saw no litter on the floor yesterday, but of course they're not open. Mr. Ali would consider a litter patrol if you felt that appropriate. Not just, he's got conditions for his own shop front, but either side or a few doors either side to make sure that there's no boxes from his premises, pick them up and throw them away. No evidence provided by Kerry that Hots Express being open later will actually attract the street drinkers on the ASP. It's just presumption. We're saying that with Mr. Ali's experience, he will be able to deal with that. It's not the type of customers he wants, Chair. He doesn't have them. That's evidence from Grilling Express. He doesn't have them there, and they will be discouraged actively. Just have addressed those or looked at those. Regarding Connell's comments, the only things and this is without, please don't take it the wrong way, Connell, it's no disrespect to the police. We have no timings on those stats, Chair. So I do have to question whether, you know, the evidence shows the crimes, the ASB was after 11 or before. I've no way of knowing because there's no breakdown of timings there. I do appreciate the difficult times and that the stats are a month behind, but it would have been helpful to know if the majority of those antisocial behaviour acts were after 11, after 12, after 1. We just don't know. So I just ask you to bear that in mind when considering that aspect of disclosure. Okay, I would just say, for example, if all the ASB and violence took place before 11 o'clock, it clearly has no impact on our client's application. Without that, I would suggest it's unfair to rely on those stats. Mr. Ali is happy to respond to the police questions about the CIZ and the measures needed, etc. As I say, he brings his 5 years experience. In closing, Chair, I would suggest that the conditions offered, including the additional ones, CIZ statement, dispersal policy, Mr. Ali's record over the past 11 years, including trading till 3 o'clock, the fact that he's got an exemplary record, no residence objections, and addressing the RA concerns, that the presumption to refuse has been overcome. And I would invite you to consider that the licensing objectives will be fully promoted and that the committee could grant the licence. If you felt that 3 o'clock was too late, if I may just say, I would ask you to consider 2 o'clock at least at weekends, in line with the other premises, one of which has 2 o'clock all week and one has it at weekend. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Graham. Clear as always. Now, can I ask Colin, please, the reference to the other premises, not Mr. Ali's other premise, I'll talk about that in a minute, but the ones that are mentioning Kerry's or any, Kerry or, Kerry's not here, Ian or yourself, are any of those with the conditions that are often laid on them because of CIZ, or were they grandfathered across?
I can check. I've got them up I've got them up. So if you want to carry on, I will check for you, and I'll go through them all now. I've got them up ready. So
right, yeah, you can be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Ali, can I address you? And I'm sure my colleagues will as well. You have agents. You have lived in the Upton Park area, or you have another shop in the Upton Park area?
You know, on the Green Street, just down the road.
Yes.
The 136 Green Street. Yeah.
Is that where you live, or is that just another premises that you're leasing?
I got another premises for the lease. Yeah. Already, I'm running. Actually, I'm working over there, and about 10 years. And
right.
The last 5 years, I occupied that one. I got a lease. That's why I'm in the last 10 years. I got the same place. I got experience after that. Last 5 years, I got a lease over there. That's why our last 10 years, even though no any happen, no have like there, no any problem like that. No.
Yeah, we sorry to interrupt, but we heard that from your agent. I just want to establish you have a lease at this other premises, 136 Green Street, but each case has to be dealt with on its individual merits, but we're taking into account all that we hear, obviously. I wanted to know, do you reside at 136 Green Street, or are you do you live in the area at all?
I'm just living in the E13 down the road, Upton Park stations, the header road.
Right, because your agent said that people would be coming out at Upton Park station. Now, it's my understanding and my knowledge as a user of the public transport system in normal times that the latest that they can come out of the district line there, if they're going towards Barking or I'm trying to think of the end of the line, but that's not material. But the latest you can be in that area is 1 o'clock. Why do you want to be open till 3 o'clock if you're predominantly serving people using the Upton Park station?
Sir, I'm asking for the weekends, Friday, Saturday. The pupils comes on late night holidays. That's why they come on the the comes from the from the different clubs, pubs, yeah. And some people come late night in the holidays. People at home, they orders, because not on works. That's why they order on the late night, yeah, because they don't Sunday's holiday, the Saturday, Sunday, they stay home, and that's why order late night up to 3 o'clock. Yeah, that's why I'm just asking for to the 3 o'clock. The weekend is okay because I know very well about the people need to go to work in the morning. That's why but just only for the weekends, because the people order late night. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because already have experience from the 136 Green Street. Friday, Saturday, late night people, they do orders. They come to collect, and mostly they order for the deliveries. And the second thing is that because the reason is that I'm using my own drivers, and the two drivers, they got a car. I don't have any bike driver, because in the late night they can easily take the 1 or 2 deliveries, and the food will be warm. Yeah, that's why I prefer to the car drivers in the night time.
Right, I'll bring in my colleagues. Councillor Pat Murphy, please.
Yes, I just wanted to, it might be best if Graham answered the question, because I'm still not sure, because he's proposed 20, no more than 20, which I think is probably excessive given the current circumstances. Is it his intention to reduce that number, or to say that this number is specifically for when the client opens and we are out of lockdown, which is a number of assumptions which we can't be entirely sure of? So what's your position?
If I answer that first, Councillor Murphy, yes, the numbers I'm saying, as I said in the presentation, is post-COVID. Mr. Ali, like any other trader, and I did speak to him yesterday, has to do a COVID assessment. I would agree 20 people in the shop at any one time would be far too many during COVID. I would suggest probably a figure of half of that, or even less than that, maybe 6 or 8. They've got to be spaced out 2 meters anyway. So yes, at the moment, 20 would be in excess. But as Councillor Wilson said, Councillor, we are looking forward beyond COVID. If, please God, we ever get to that, then yes, 20, because Mr. Ali's got seating in the front of the shop for the dining service. It's actually on the plan. I don't know if you can see it down here.
Yeah.
So the answer to your question is yes, that's normal times. It would be, I would think, 6 or 8 maximum for COVID times. So some of those will have to wait outside.
Okay.
Can we? Sorry to cut across.
Yes, right.
Page 39. Very good plan. And this is being worked through in terms of refurbishment.
Yes.
We've got the shop, and we've got tables arranged.
Yes.
Are those tables?
Yes, there's tables and chairs, Chair.
And the maximum, you were saying, because I'm reluctant to set precedent, Councillor Murphy, you see, to have sort of, temporary conditions. I don't think we're legally sort of going to be in that position. Rather than having people coming back and forth, having a sort of, we're aware of COVID, but I think we just have to plan for a more sort of normal. Does that make sense? So we're going for 20 at max in normal conditions. Yeah. Sorry, Pat, do you wish to come back on any of that about seating areas and things?
Sorry.
Sorry. I'll just finish.
Yeah, sorry, because it was his question. That was a long interruption from me, Graham.
No, that's all right. I can understand your point of view, but my concern is that we just don't know how things are going to work out, especially with the way in which the government conduct themselves. And I'm just concerned that if we had something like 20, it would have to say, it would have to be COVID secure, as they call it. It would have to be post-lockdown. I think we need to be the conditions about dispersal need to be extremely specific, because we are living in very dangerous times.
Yeah.
If I may just go back to Councillor Murphy on that. Yes, I share the councillor's position, and with a government that springs it on us overnight, it doesn't give anybody time to prepare. The number of chairs at the front on the plan, Chair, I spoke to Mr. Ali yesterday and he's indicated to me 20. That was just an indicative layout, but that's the seating capacity. And he probably could get away with that if the configuration was changed. But I fully agree with what Councillor Murphy said. All I would suggest is that under the coronavirus regulations, the requirement for the COVID-19 assessment would override the longer term provisions of the Licensing Act.
Yeah. So the COVID assessment would be shorter term, whereas the license would be for more established longer term.
Yes.
Can I just interject?
Yeah.
As Graham's pointed out, there's the Health Protection Coronavirus Restriction England Regulations number 3. So that actually gives the council powers to to actually impose directions on premises where there is a serious and imminent threat to public health. Obviously, we do have some departments, Councillor Murphy, which will be regulating premises to check how premises are operating, and in particular they need to have control measures in place, as in making sure that social distancing, they don't have too many people within a premises. So unless we that there's not a number placed inside in the dispersal policy at this stage, hypothetically, if it was to be added as a condition, it might be more suitable, say if you were to grant the variation. But there are powers to the council if there was issues further down the line, and officers will be regulating premises to make sure that they have the risk assessments completed, as Graham has pointed out. And the regulations may change again anyway before the lockdown lifts. So there may be. Yeah. I think we've actually had correspondence from central government that they may be giving local authorities more powers anyway. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think a lot of premises at the moment are having to operate in a very controlled way anyway, and they are being monitored.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
But thanks for that. I think that's been a useful thing because people are watching us live as well, and other applications are coming through. I think it's good that we're not setting precedent, but we are exhausting all the eventualities, whatever happens with the vagaries, for want of a better word, of guidance and guidance notes and things coming from central diktat. Yeah. So, Councillor Murphy, anything further on that or the dispersal policy, or?
No, I think that's enough for me.
Yeah, Councillor Vaughan.
Just one question, Chair. There are a number of recommendations in the application between page 18 and 23.
Yeah.
Which obviously was drafted by Mr. Hopkins. My question is, how familiar is the applicant with these conditions? Understood?
Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Ali, can you answer the question of my colleague, please?
So I can't hear you.
Should I repeat?
He can't hear us very well. I think there's an internet problem. I don't think.
I see.
I don't think it's an understanding problem. I think it's an internet problem.
Yes.
Has your client lost a link with us? Adrian, are you able to assist in this matter, please?
I can't really, because I think it's probably a localized issue to Mr. Ali. So I think if we just
not at our end, it's not. No, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not our end. Everyone else is working fine. So I probably think just leave it 30 seconds and see if the connection covers. If not, Graham, I'd advise Mr. Ali just to exit and just come back into the meeting.
I'll tell him to do that, Adrian. Thank you. I'm calling him now.
Yeah, okay.
Can we just have a pause, because we do need questions answered, colleagues?
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Hello. Hello. What's up there?
We can hear you, Graham, but can you hear the client?
He's just dialing in.
Right. Because we do need questions answered, as you well know, by the applicant as well as you.
Are you there, Wajid? No, he's still trying.
No, he's not in the weight room at the moment. I'll let you know when he... Oh, there we go.
All right, got him?
Yeah, we've got him on screen. Mr. Ali, can you hear me?
He might have to dial in on the other number then. I'm not sure which is. I'm not that technically minded. I'll give him the 0330 number. Sorry about this. Right, okay. You'll have to try the other one, Wajid. Have you got a pen? Right, 0330. Chair, he's just trying the other number.
Right, thank you.
Welcome.
We better, because we do have another meeting scheduled for 4 o'clock, so I'm conscious of time and wanting to get proceeding.
If it would help you.
It's an important question because the applicant has to answer questions. As you know, the agent can't do it all, and my colleagues are rightly, and so was I, going to come in and questions directly on what you're offering up in terms of the licensing objectives.
If it would help you, I'm quite happy, if you want to do the decision within 5 working days, if that takes the pressure off for you a little bit at the end. I'm quite happy to accept that.
Okay, in the meantime, Chair.
I was going to say, can we make progress with anything? Shall we?
Let me put the question to Graham, should I?
Yeah, you carry on, and I hope, Colin, you've found out about these other licenses as well. While we're thank you. So let's do your question direct to the agent for the minute, then.
Right, Mr. Hopkins.
Councillor.
Yeah, the conditions in the application, page 18 to 23. I would say that you obviously drafted those conditions.
Yes.
I would want to know how well the applicant is versed with the conditions laid out in the application.
Well, given his 11 years experience, councillor, in late night takeouts, first as a manager, now as an owner for 5 years, and the fact he's got a shop probably some 600-700 yards down the road towards Forest Gate with a 3 o'clock licence, and he's had no issues over that 5 years, no complaints or involvement with the police other than when he's called them, or with the council, I would say his understanding is good, if not very good.
But did you at any time take him through the conditions?
Yes, I spoke to him yesterday to ask him if he had any concerns or any questions when we were standing in the shop ourselves. And when I drafted them, he has seen them and he was asked if he had any questions. So I have been through the basics with him, yes.
Now, it's my understanding, Winston, that we've got Mr. Ali on the telephone. So would you like to repeat that question to him?
Right.
Mr. Ali, can you hear me before I bring in my colleague?
Yes, sir. I'm on. Okay.
Can everybody hear Mr. Ali?
Yes.
So, Winston, would you like to repeat your or have another question direct to the applicant?
Okay, Mr. Ali.
Yes,
there are a number of conditions associated with the application, which between page 18 and 23, I would want to know how well are you aware of the conditions laid out in those pages? How well do you know them?
the number 18, which number you said, sir?
All the conditions between page 18 and 23 of the application. See, there are things like the prevention of crime and disorder. The licensing objective and so forth covers page 18 to 23. So how many of those could you recollect? Say the prevention of crime and disorder, for instance, which we discussed quite a lot here in the meeting.
Yes, sir. Regarding the prevention of that crime disorder, because already in the, I'm just explaining my experience about that. Because in the 136 shop, I'm how dealing with the people and the crime order about that. Because I got the CCTV cameras over there, and the one thing is more things plus point over there because I got a door supervisor's license I got in 2012, and that's why one already know how to deal with the peoples and about the. And the thing is that the crime disorder, the thing, CCTV cameras, and they need to aware to my staff and during the lessons hour how to treat the peoples. If any problem, something's happen over there, how we need to do. If the we can manage, then is right. Otherwise, I need to stay forward. I need to call to the 999. That's the thing, the best thing, because I already got a door supervisor license as well. That's the know how they teach us, because what I need to do, how can we deal with the peoples, if the young peoples and the coming peoples underage and the house coming. That's the thing, yeah. I'm dealing with the last 5 years because I got experience for the 10 years, but last 5 years I'm in the front. That's the thing, yeah. I can deal with the people. I await my staff as well during the lessons hour. How I need to treat with the peoples. If young people is coming, underage coming, if any is the groups coming, is anyone have a weapons or something like that, what we need to do. We need to call this. If anyone have a weapon or something like that, we need to call to the 999. Because I don't I don't have any happen like this last 10 years in the same role, 136 Green Street. Hopefully I will show you gonna know any happen like that, because I will know about the public noise as well. And because I already explained the Graham's upstairs is my flat. In my upstairs flat is because I got a whole lease from the upstairs and downstairs. I will use my own employees.
Thank you. Now, Councillor Vaughan, you wish to come back?
Just one other question. Okay. Anyone could answer this. Mr. Hopkins can answer it if he likes. Okay. At the bottom of page 18. It begins the very last line. We suggest that the presence of an additional late night license, this location will actually aid the quicker dispersal of customers and reduce noise in this and at the smaller locations.
Sorry to interrupt, Councillor Vaughan. I think you said 18. You're on the bottom of page 19 on my copy.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably 19 there.
Yeah, sorry.
It's probably 19. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yes,
it is.
Bottom 19 going to 20. Quite right.
Yeah.
Mr. Hopkins, you see that?
I do, Councillor. Yes. I use that, I must admit, when I'm doing a CIZ statement for a late night takeaway, because I always take the view an additional premises, especially on a transitory route, will aid in dispersal rather than the people, perhaps in this case, waiting to get down to Barking Road. You could argue it's more appropriate to East Ham Town Centre or somewhere like that, where there's a number of venues together. Certainly an additional premises can act more clearly as an additional outlet to get people in, served and away. But I still hold that on a transitory route, if people are walking home, they can go in there and maybe turn off rather than go off into Upton Park Town Centre. So yes, I do believe it can aid in quicker dispersal. I'm also taking into account Councillor Mike's past experience in Romford as a licensing officer. When we had more than one premises, the queues were sort of distributed around and the people were turned around quicker and out the town centre. So that's what I base it on.
Thank you very much, Chair. No more from me. Thank you.
Anything else, Councillor Murphy?
No, Chair.
Now, we have some information that I asked for, Colin. These premises that are referred to in our bundle on Kerry's submission from Environmental Health, do they have any stringent conditions on them?
No, Chair. I mean, none of them have got alcohol as we've established.
Right.
762 Barking Road is 24 midnight in the week and 0100 at weekends, and they've got no conditions. 15 Barking Road is 0200 every day. They've got no conditions. 12 Barking Road is 0100 during the week and 0200 weekends, and they've got the CCTV conditions, and they've got a notice and keep the front clear. They're the conditions on all three licenses.
Yeah, thank you. Right, now, Ian, do you have questions of the applicant or their agent?
No, Chair, I haven't got any questions. Thank you.
And Connell, do you have any questions for the applicant or their agent? No questions. Is that Connell? Can you put yourself off mute? I can't hear you. I still can't hear him. I think he's saying no questions, but you have to. Right. So,
sorry to intervene, Chair. You may want to at this stage just check with the responsible authorities if they accept the additional conditions and dispersal policy offered.
Exactly,
by
that's
Mr.
what I was
Hopkins.
going to. Okay. We've got this late submission, which is a dispersal policy, and this business about the effective shutdown time, or no orders for a takeaway or delivery 15 minutes before terminal hour, whatever we might decide on. No orders for consumption in the restaurant, and a dispersal policy. What is your view of those, Ian? I'll take it in the order that you had reps. So, Ian, from Commercial Environmental Health.
Yes. That addresses the concerns that Kerry has raised, except probably in relation to the hour. The late hour.
Yes, indeed. That you know, these are dispersal things. They don't address the issue about how many hours it's open for.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, Chair.
Right. Connell, can you hear me all right? Because we can't hear you very well. What is your view of this dispersal policy and these additional conditions?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can now. Yeah.
No, please accept the additional conditions. No.
Yeah, but you accept. Do you still think that the hours that are being sought have been addressed in that? You've gone on mute again. I don't know. He keeps going on mute very easily, Connell. I don't know how he does it, but. Connell, we need to hear you, please.
Can I ask a quick question of Ian while we're just waiting?
Yes, please.
Yes. Ian, can I just check with you? You said that, just sorry, in response to the last question, that the additional conditions and dispersal policy address the concerns Kerry has raised, except in relation to the late hour. I presume you mean till the 3 a.m.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
That's why I was trying to ask the question of Connell as well, but
Yes.
I'm having great difficulty hearing what he's saying. Connell, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes, Chair.
Good, we can hear you. Right, at last. Don't press any buttons or anything. When things are working, just sort of like, go away from the screen a bit. You accept these conditions may help, but is your concern still around the hours?
Yes, certainly the 3 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Mandeep, do you have any further points?
No, Chair.
And Winston, no further points?
No, no, Chair, no.
And Pat Murphy, no further points?
No.
So I think it's a brief, remember. Brevity is of the essence, Graham, at this point. Brief closing remarks.
I think
you will incur my wrath if we
absolutely,
go into
Chair. I don't wish to
long expositions.
I do not wish to do that. I've only really got the one point I'd like to make. The question seems to be about the hours. If I could just remind you that Mr. Ali has 3 o'clock at his other shop, but that is a matter for you. If you feel that 3 is too late, I would invite you to consider 2 o'clock, based on the fact that the neighbouring shops have got it and the government advises more of a level playing field at the moment. But that's your decision. I invite you to consider 2 o'clock if 3 o'clock's too late. Thank you very much, Chair. I don't need to say anything else.
Now, for the benefit of those who are following us on the YouTube platform, the custom is for us now to pass a resolution to deliberate in private. We will now do that. The people who are deliberating in private will be the 3 councillors, ably assisted by our legal advisors, because obviously we're acting in accordance with the Licensing 2003 Act, and we are lay people, we're not lawyers. And we will also be ably assisted by our committee clerk who's been taking notes. During our deliberations, we will obviously take into account everything in our bundles, but all that we've heard so far. We will, I think I'll hand over to Adrian for instructions on what is happening on the screen for the public and what's happening to the people who are not in a deliberation room, please. Adrian.
Okay, so councillors, legal team and the clerk will receive invites now to leave the meeting, go to their virtual breakout, and we're just going to put up a slide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can everybody hear me who's so far assembled? I think we're waiting for your client, Graham. Is he still on the telephone link?
He was, Chair. If he's dropped off, I'll tell him the result.
You're telling him the result.
If he's dropped off, I'll tell him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we've got everybody back. Is that correct? I was looking, just checking. Yeah. So we have, and thank you for those watching us live for your patience. We have come to a decision. I will now ask our clerk, legal advisor, to give us a quick summary of that, please. So Nisha, I think, is going first. Is that correct, Mandy? Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Having heard all submissions, the subcommittee has decided to grant the variation in terms of the revised layout and revised name of the premises. With regards to the hours, the variation is granted to apply from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. the following day, each day of the week.
Graham, just to add, we will be tweaking conditions 2 and 4 to the dispersal policy, and there will be a sentence which will be akin to, provided this is lawful in accordance with the relevant coronavirus legislation in force, which you'll be aware of anyway.
Yep.
And there will be just one further condition added in relation to litter patrol, as was offered by you during the hearing.
Yep.
Just to mention, for the timing of the decision, the decision may be out to you a little bit later than 5 days with the reasons, just because there's a slight backlog. I've had absence in the team, so just to put you on notice. Great, thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Mandy.
Yeah, we thought it was important that it came from legal department. Obviously, there's special circumstances. I wish you all the best, Graham, with the other issues that you highlighted. And thank you ever so much, everybody, for the way you've presented yourselves and the way we've conducted, albeit with these difficulties with bandwidth or whatever the technical phrase is and unstable links. It just remains for me to say that the applicant and responsible authorities may appeal against their decision to the Magistrates' Court within a period of 21 days. Thank you very much. I hereby declare the meeting closed.
Yeah, can I say, do we stay where we are for the